Justin Proctor. He's the managing editor of the Journal of Caribbean Ornithology. He will be presenting Celebrating 32 Years of the Journal of Caribbean Ornithology, how a humble journal has contributed to both ornithology and the development of young scientists throughout the Caribbean.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, and the slides are up?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, good morning. My name is Justin Proctor, and it's a pleasure to be here at NAOC. I am the managing editor of the Journal of Caribbean Ornithology, which is a peer-reviewed scientific publication under BirdsCaribbean, the nonprofit BirdsCaribbean. So I'm excited to be with you here today to talk about the journal, what we do, our great team, and ways for all of you to interact with us. So here we go. So JCO has come a long way in 32 years. We started out in 1988 as El Pitirre, which was actually more of a newsletter at the time. And there's a photo of our previous production editor, Doug Weideman, about 10 years ago, still delivering copies of the El Pitirre became the JCO in hard copy all over the Caribbean and the Western Hemisphere. And of course, today we are a completely digital journal, and you can access us just with your smartphone and see all the new latest publications coming out, which is pretty exciting. So we've come a long way in 32 years, and we're pretty excited about it. And we've got a lot to share with you here today. So who are we? What is the scope of what we publish? We publish all aspects of ornithology coming out of the Caribbean region, and that does include Bermuda. It includes the Bahamas as well, and pretty much all the islands within the greater Caribbean basin. And what do we accept to the journal? We accept a lot of different types of publications, which we're really excited about. We actually expanded those options this year. We have research articles, which of course are kind of your classic articles. That would be methods, results, discussion, investigative research. We have research notes, which are usually shorter, more observation-based. So if, for example, you found a species of nighthawk for the first time on a certain island, that would be an observation-based research note. We do reviews like book reviews. We also opened up to conservation reports. Generally, these are more long-term studies that show data coming out working with people and the effects of long-term conservation projects on communities. And we also have the option for perspectives and opinions. So we publish a lot of different things, and we're excited about that, and that gives our journal definitely a particular flavor of being very open. So what is our major approach? Well, good science fuels good conservation. I don't think anybody can argue with that. Our idea is the JCO. We are more of the scientific entity of BirdsCaribbean, and our idea is to get the best science out there so that it can then be adapted and used into conservation efforts all over the Caribbean. So this slide might be one of the most important because it really gives you an idea of who we are and how we think. We are absolutely 100% committed to working with and giving voice to the entire Caribbean ornithological community and beyond. Anybody who's interested in publishing with us, we are very interested in working with you. This is a really exciting piece that I'll talk a little bit more about later, and that is that we are very excited to be able to extend help and developmental resources to young, first-time, and/or underserved authors. So we have a lot of new cool resources in place to offer our help. Handling time. This is always a big topic, how long it takes for a manuscript to go through the pipeline from submission all the way to publication. And, you know, to be honest, we are not so focused on watching the clock on this one. We recognize that each manuscript is absolutely unique. We will treat it as such. The authors behind that manuscript are unique, and what that paper needs to be the best it can be is something we're going to devote the time to. So some papers need more time, and that's okay. We're going to put that time into them. Another thing we're really proud of is that we have very modest publication costs. You're talking between $50 and $100 US. We try to keep those very low. And the most important part is, if that is a hardship for anyone, there is a simple procedure to submit a request to have that waived, and we will waive it. So we do not want publication prices to be an obstacle to publication. Also very exciting and unique is that we publish in 3 languages, English, Spanish, and French. And every publication, every paper is going to have an abstract in all 3 languages. That way anybody can read kind of the nuts and bolts of a paper once it comes out, which is great. So there have been some big improvements over the last couple of years that we are really proud of. And I want to share a few of those with you right now. We have a bigger team, and a bigger team for JCO has meant a better product. So just over the last couple of years, we went from basically a staff of 5-ish volunteers to about 25 people, a combination of volunteers and paid staff. And that has made all the difference. We have new editorial positions. We have a much stronger emphasis on retaining staff. So bringing in staff and saying, hey, if you want to work with us, that's great. We want to keep you here and we want to develop your skills. We've made a lot of improvements to our internal workflow, how a manuscript moves through the pipeline, all the different directions it can take, making sure there's more filters along the way to make sure the best work comes out on the other end. We're also doing a better job of advertising our positions throughout the Caribbean into all the nooks and crevices to make sure that we can grab all the talent out there and bring them onto the team. And we really want Caribbean nationals to be a part of our staff. And we're very excited that just last week we hired 2 Caribbean nationals to join our team. So far, so good. We're exploring new financial goals and revenue streams. We certainly, there is a cost to running a journal, of course. The more staff, the higher the cost. And that's okay. That's a good thing. We just want to find ways to offset that cost so that cost never falls on our authors. And we are super excited that we are now under the leadership of Dr. Joseph Wonderly, our new editor-in-chief. If you don't know Joe, I hope you get a chance to meet him. He's a great guy, and we're excited for him to be ushering in a new chapter of JCO. Another big thing is communication. We have ramped up our communication with authors and reviewers 400-fold. Communication is vital. It establishes trust in our journal, confidence in our abilities, better transparency of what's going on, and a stronger final product. I think nobody wants the scenario where you submit a manuscript that you've worked very hard on to a journal and you hear nothing back. Months go by and you don't know what to do, and you're caught in a situation where should you retract it and submit it to another journal? You're up against a clock, maybe you're a master's or PhD student trying to get something published. That's no good for anybody. So communication is absolutely vital, and we make sure that we've kicked that up to a higher notch. I'm extremely excited about this slide. This is our archives, which are completely free and open access. Last year, we were able to devote the time and the resources to digitize every single paper going back 32 years to 1988 and put them all on our website, free and open access. You can go back through and read absolutely anything you'd like, which is really exciting. And though the archives are dedicated in memory of our good friend, Dr. James Wiley, who started all of this back in 1988. So something kind of cool I have to point out is that when we went back to put these archives together, we found something really interesting, and we can't quite figure out what's going on here. And that is, I'm showing you here the symbol, the icon for the original El Pitirre, the original JCO, and that was a gray kingbird, Tyrannus dominicensis. And you can see it was a drawing, and it persisted for several volumes, but in the first volume we had 4 issues. And you notice that in volume 1, number 3, for some reason, that gray kingbird is winking. And we're not exactly sure why. It's kind of bizarre. It's one of those cool little secrets of the past of JCO. So if anybody out there knows why, for just 1 issue, this gray kingbird, the icon of El Pitirre at the time, had to wink, reach out, let us know. Offering an award for that. We also took on a special issue a couple of years ago, which turned out to be a big success on forest endemics. That was really exciting. We would love to be ready to take on another special issue in 2021. Those are, of course, a lot of work and a lot of time, but I think we're getting our staff ready to do so. And obviously, there's a lot of amazing issues out there that deserve a special issue. Another thing we've begun to do is a yearly roundup where we take all the papers that we publish over the course of the year and we start looking at the data and seeing where these papers are coming from, who the authors are, which islands are publishing with us. And that really also helps us understand who we haven't reached and maybe new connections to make. So we're excited about taking that data and really starting to try to go island by island and seeing where our gaps are. This is a really exciting slide, resources for new authors and ESL authors. And I think this really sets the JCO apart from many other journals. And that is that we are spending a lot of time and energy making sure we have extra resources for authors that need them. We have engaged with a new mentorship program that came out of BirdsCaribbean last year. It was launched at our Guadalupe conference. We've interacted with them to offer young new authors opportunities to pair with mentors that can help them develop their papers that aren't quite ready to put into publication. We also have created an entirely new editor position, a development editor, which is someone on our team that's ready to work with an author whose paper is just not quite ready yet and might be in fear of being rejected. We can send it down that pathway and have them maybe take a couple months to even work on this and develop some new ideas for that author. So what this translates to is that we never just manuscript rejected it, you know, that the worst thing you want to see, right? It does happen. Sometimes a paper isn't a good fit, but here's what it actually looks like at JCO. It's manuscript rejected, but here's some options how we can help you so that maybe 2 or 3 months down the line after we've found you the right mentor and some other colleagues to help come in and shape that paper, we'll get to see a resubmission from you in the future. So a very different feel. We're here to help. We're here to see the best work come out of the Caribbean that we can. And so how can you get involved with JCO? This is my final slide. I want to leave you with this. Publish with us. Consider publishing with us. Just don't all submit your manuscripts on the same week, please. No, we'll take them when we can get them. We're excited about that. And we've had a big influx of papers actually over the last couple of months. So it's been exciting to see everything going on around the Caribbean. We're always looking for more associate editors to join the team. Another big thing is join BirdsCaribbean. That's a great way to connect with their journal, us. And join the BirdsCaribbean mentorship program as a mentor or mentee. If you want to work with students, if you have knowledge to share, if you can help, please get involved. And if you like what we do, if you like our mission and want to maybe even help offset publication costs for others who can't afford them, consider donating and becoming a JCO sustainer. So with that, I'll end there and open it up for any questions.